are ready to begin. You guys can start at whatever time. Remember, after Hippo, you do need to sync up through the sheet. But otherwise, yeah, I think we're ready to go. So this match between Nino and Plank should be a good one. Both runners are just awesome at the game. Plank has been on a recent hot streak, PBing multiple times in the last couple of weeks, and Nino has had a crazy rapid ascent through the game, knocking on the door of sub 17, but he could go much lower if stuff lines up right for him. Will not be able to commentate today because of technical difficulties, so I will be the only commentator. Forgive me, this is my first time, so we'll see how it goes. I think you can start now. The Glass Joe should be pretty typical. 42-second strategy, dealing damage to make sure that even if they somehow miss that window, that they will still be able to knock him down relatively quickly after the 42-second ability. Properly executes it, gets Joe down 32 seconds. Starts right away on Blind Kaiser. I'm not sure what Kaiser strategy to expect from Nino. Could be the advanced strategy with the Mr. X. We'll see. He does do the advanced strategy. Misses the Mr. X. So he's gonna lose. So he lost about 4 seconds there on the knockdown. Best case, you'll get a 21. But luckily, it won't spill over into phase 2 or 3. Phase 1, you just need to get 7 punches in before you make this. It looks like Nino's going to wind up with something closer to a 40 than a 36. We'll see what Plank does. Plank also does the advanced strategy, and he executes phase 1 well. Knocks him down at 21. Yet Nino's going to finish with a 40. Not too big a time. The scale. Watch out race. I mean, you can lose 30 seconds from RNG alone on multiple fights. Plank gets the Schnitzel star as well. He will be looking at a 36-second time for Kaiser. Nino delaying before Honda, that's the manipulation to get him to throw a specific pattern that ordinarily would only happen 75% of the time. This guarantees it and allows the Honda 1 advanced strategy to happen. Nino does the beginner strategy, however, and will knock him down at 30 with 1 star. Plank also appears to be doing the manipulation. I think he will be going for the advanced strategy, but he could be going for the beginner, which would look similar to Nino's. He is doing the advanced strategy, and he nails phase 1. Phase 1 can be really tricky. There's a lot of places where you have to be just right with your timing, or else things can go very badly wrong. Honda can also throw an uppercut called Skynet, which is out of your control. There's a 1 in 8 chance of it happening, and if that happens, you will be looking at a little bit of time loss for no reason. You want it to. Plank does the advanced phase 3 well, ends up with a 44. Plank will have a 9.5 second lead going into the major circuit, but that is nothing until circuit. expect to see both runners getting either 14 or 15 on Don Flamenco 1. Nino does the buffer well and gets the star to knock it down. Nino will be looking at a 14 or 15. Star is frame perfect, and that buffer just happens to always land you on the frame perfect. Nino doesn't get the early rapids, so he'll be looking at either a 15.61 or a 15.82. That buffer was invented by Zallard to hit the frame perfect star every time, because otherwise it is not a very. Flink also does phase 1 properly. He gets him down at 10 seconds. Now we will see Nino attempts the full hippo manippo, or what's called the mini manip, where you just go for the first open mouth and then let RNG handle the rest. Because the full manippo is a little bit more difficult, can be a little bit riskier. Whereas the mini manip, you're just on the hook for 1, and then it's up to hippo to do the rest. Flink. Full manippo, basically, if you start the fight at exactly 5 minutes, and then as long as you don't press right or down throughout the entirety of the run up until that point, you're guaranteed to get the first open mouth. And then by punching him with the right gut to intentionally lose specific amounts of frames, you can guarantee the second and third open, which is a huge discovery on a fight this random, because Hippo can very easily just spiral out of control, get you well over a minute without you doing anything wrong. Tiger RNG plague either of these runners. Link executes his Tiger perfectly, and Nino does as well. Both runners should end up with about a 48 here. Yeah, both runners getting a 44 second knockdown. Yeah, both runners ending up with basically identical times. They might be separated by a decimal or two, but that's it. Both 48.25. So now Blood Bowl 1. Nino has been learning the Advanced Bull 1, and I think Plink will also be using the Advanced Bull 1. It's a fight with many different possibilities. Could go a lot of different ways, can give you a lot of different patterns, different refills. It'll be interesting to see what he gives up for these guys. Both runners hit the 17-second phase 1 strat, alright. Gets the early lucky star. Plink has to wait, but gets the late lucky star. Plink gets him down at 40 with 2 stars. Nino gets him down at 39 with 2 stars. Still very close here. Gets the big refill. And Nino gets the small refill. Plink gets him down at both incredible Bald Bull 1 times. Holy smokes. A 58 from Nino and a 1 minute flag from Plink. These guys are both on awesome paces here. Wow. Sub-minute Bull 1 and even 1 minute flat. Those are both incredibly rare times to get. Bull 1 does not come above them. Both runners are on quite the pace going into the world circuit, but this is where it can really start to get out of control with RNG. Piston Honda 2, I'll be interested to see if either of the runners strays away from the 1 minute .99 buffer and tries to get a time somewhere in the 40s, or if they'll both play it safe, use the buffer, and then leave it up to Soda, Don 2, and all the other World Circuit fights that can just kill you with randomness. Because this pace is great, but it's only going to be great if the rest of the fights can cooperate. And as we all know, there's a couple fights in here that can really just destroy a pace. Both runners are going for it here. Plink successfully executes the 25-second strategy, and Nino needs to take a little bit of a detour, but gets him down at 33 with 2. It's still possible to get him before a minute here. Oh, Plink's going to have a really good time. He got the low refill. Alright, Nino's saving this. Nino should be able to get him down as long as he can land this next max damage star punch. He misses. He's got to manually time it here. And he does. So Nino's going to get out of it with a 1 minute .99. Plink with a 42.61. What a pace for Plink. But this pace can come crashing down oh so fast. He always seems to find a way to hook you when you least expect it, and that just loses a ton of time. Plink is using the select strategy, where you get knocked down during the fight. Nino is not. Oh, Plink gets hooks. Plink gets more hooks. Nino gets out with him. Nino gets the uppercut right away. 20-second time. Plink gets a 36-second phase one. Just brutal, and it was out of his control too. He just got hooks and got unlucky. Nino gets another uppercut. Plink gets an uppercut, but it's later. Nino's in real good position to bring back some of this. Oh no, Plink fails to cancel the uppercut. Nino gets a 57-second time. Another incredible time on Soda. Anytime you can get out of there with under a minute, Plink takes the knockdown, gets a star, rapid punches him for a 129. Just a tough situation for Plink. I mean, there's not a whole lot you can do when he starts wanting to hook you like that. It just throws your entire strategy off. You have to alter your game plan on the fly, which is not an easy thing to do on. Bald Bull 2 is an interesting fight. He's got misdirects, which are misdirected gut punches that are 1 in 4 to go through, but if you hit him, you can potentially save a lot of time. We'll see if any runners go for Plink takes a hit. Both runners have taken it. Neither of their first knockdowns will be close to the optimal, which is about 38 seconds. Plink gets him down to 51 and no stars. Nino gets him down at 54 and 1 star. They're both fairly close here. Oh no, Plink misses another one. Nino has a nice clean phase 2, gets him down at 123, and Plink gets him down at 132. Plink's got very few hearts, same with Nino. We could be seeing a bull charge on Plink's side. If Nino executes properly, we won't be seeing a bull charge. Nino hits a misdirect. And Plink will escape without seeing a bull charge. Nino gets a 143. Yeah, Plink escapes at 155. The bull charge happens at 2 minutes flat, and it can just suck time out of you so fast. Especially if you mistime the punch, it's very easy for this fight to go terribly wrong after 2 minutes. Now Don Flamenco 2. We'll see if either of these guys are going to get lucky stars from Don, which are 1 in 16 to happen on every punch. Every 7th punch, you get a guaranteed star, and every punch between that, when you have a star already, there's a 1 in 16 chance that it'll give you another star. It can lead to some pretty fast stars if you get the luck and get multiple stars. We'll see. No stars on Plink's side. No stars on Nino's side. Both of these are going to be pretty typical Don 1 or Don 2 fights up until at least the first knockdown. He can give you a lucky star in phase 2 that will change the game plan, but from here on out, the game plan is more or less set. These guys know what they need. Neither fighter gets an 8 count, so either could get the low fill. Plink gets the mid fill, Nino gets the big fill. Plink gets him down at 123. Nino takes a little bit longer because he got a bigger refill and gets him down at 127. Phase 3 for Don 2 is going to be more or less, is he going to let your punch through? Nino gets blocked once before he lets the punch through. Plink gets blocked a little bit before the punch gets through. Both fighters, Plink with a 149, Nino with a 151. Things considered, I mean, those are perfectly acceptable Don 2s. I mean, if you get blocked more, if you have an execution mistake, it can get well over 2 minutes. And then sometimes if you get hit, you forget what to do, you can accidentally stop the clock on Don 2, which is an automatic loss. Both fighters hitting select before Sandman and will be taking an intentional knockdown later in the fight to save time if they can execute. Plink executing the rolling jabs properly. Nino misses a rolling jab. That's going to cost Nino a little bit of time here. But luckily, Nino appears to know the backup for when you miss a rolling jab and will be just fine as long as you get him down before about 120. Gets him down to 119. Plink with 117. Both runners are still on track to have a solid save. That rolling jab is not going to cost Nino much more. Neither runner gets the short delay. Both get the long delay on the Dreamland Express from Sandman, but they both execute their quick dodges correctly. Nino gets him down at 158. Plink gets him down at 155. So realistically, that missed rolling jab is going to cost Nino about a second. Plink's going to wait, punch him in the face, get knocked down. Plink gets the low refill. Let's see what Nino gets. Nino gets the big fill. Oh no. Plink executes the final triple quicks properly. He should wind up with about a 219 or a 220. Yep, Plink gets a 220. Nino's going to take a little bit longer because of the big refill. Nino gets a 232. Both runners are very close. Only a 6-second gap between them at this point. This could be a very interesting end of the race. Super Macho Man, there's so many different possibilities for how this fight could play out. And then, of course, there's Mike Tyson, who Both runners are very capable of getting a low time on Tyson, but it's never a guarantee to knock him down, to knock him out in a round. So if either runner fails to do that, that could swing the race for the other runner. I'm excited. This is a good race. Plink, don't forget to input your Sandman time. Plink is having some difficulties loading the spreadsheet. Yeah, Cleveland Tom in the chat points out Nino can PB here if he executes these last two fights properly. If he can get Macho down in a minute or so, yeah, Sandman was a 220. But yeah, we're on PB watch for Nino. Plink, a PB is probably out of consideration, but if he can get a sub 17, that would still be an incredible race time. Anytime you get a time under 17 minutes in a race, you're probably winning that. That's a really solid time to get. Plink just working out some technical difficulties. He mentioned that he does have sudden issues with his Wi-Fi that can take a second to fix. So we'll be patient with him. Hopefully, he can get us back on track soon. Plink inputs is Sandman time. There's, yeah, 6.33 seconds separates the two runners at the end of the game. It is anyone's race to take. We'll see which strategies these runners are using and whether or not this Super Macho Man will cooperate with these strategies because he often won't cooperate, and then that will test the runner's depth of knowledge in that strategy, whether or not they can execute on the bad patterns. Because the bad patterns are just as hard to learn, just as hard to figure out as the good patterns, and often require a lot more thinking. Plink says his spreadsheet button isn't working, so you guys can go whenever. Plink starts the fight, and Nino starts the fight. Oh. Improvise a little bit with the technical difficulties, but we can do it. We can. It gets blocked on those jabs. Nino's doing the 30 and 3. Plink had to improvise and do what is ordinarily the 28-second strategy, but since he got blocked, it will lead on to 30-second. Nino gets a bad pattern, but it's the bad good pattern. He's able to knock him down at 37 seconds with once. Oh no, Plink misses the spin sucker because he did one too many dodges. Nino executes phase 2 properly. Plink gets him down at 58 with 2 stars. Nino at 51 with 2 stars. Nino hits the spin sucker properly and knocks him down at 105 to finish the fight. Plink at 111. This is anybody's race. It comes down to Tyson. If Nino gets a round 1 Tyson, this will be a personal best and oh no! Oh, never mind. I thought Nino's stream cut out for a second. It just stopped for a second for me. Yeah. If Nino can get a time of 2:57 or better, this will be a sub 17. Just an incredible race these two are putting. Yeah, they're 12 and a half seconds apart. Mike Tyson. It's truly anybody's race. We all know with Tyson, the 8 second delay can just destroy any kind of momentum or speed that you have in the first 6 punches or 9 punches or whatever. And he can just make times under 1 minute completely unreachable in phase one and often can push them well over 110. As long as both runners can knock him down the first time before 119, the round one is still alive. Can sub 16-10 with a perfect Tyson, as 8-Bit points out. Nino's Tyson PB is a 226. Plink's Tyson PB is a 216. Plink does not get the 8 second delay, and Nino does get the 8 second delay. Plink knocks him down at 106, Nino with a 109. Both of these runners definitely can get around one. Plink's going to be looking for 4 uppercuts. Nino could get 4 if he's lucky, but also could wind up with 3 depending on Tyson's phase 2 pattern. Nino only gets 3. Both runners need to hit the hooks. It comes down to the hooks. Plink gets punched. Oh no! Plink is not going to be able to get him in round 2 or in round 1. He's going to have to wait till round 2. Nino has a 204. He's basically guaranteed a round 1 as long as he doesn't get punched by any of the hooks. He's going for the frame perfects. There's 3. Nino with a PB 1658. Congratulations to Nino clutching out the round 1 Tyson. PB in a race setting. Plink is going to be finishing this off in round 2. It's just like getting a round 1 on Tyson is so hard to do, even as a good runner. It's so hard to do consistently, and especially after you've done 13 other fights, it's just impossible to be 100% consistent. Yeah, congratulations to Nino on his PB. That's awesome. Oh no, Plink gets tagged some more. Plink's got 1 more knockdown to go. Wow, a 1658.92 for Nino. Welcome to the sub 17 club. Yeah, first personal best in tournament history, 8-Bits. Plink finishes Tyson off at 126 in round 2. Both runners putting on an absolute show this first time. What a race.